There's been quite a number of changes, but let me go on to the next one, which is on the composition of Parliament. Important for you to know, some of you could be members of Parliament, you never know, you might put up your hand to stand for elections. The number of seats in Parliament has been increased from 45 to 50. There won't be single member constituencies, nor will there be now divisional constituencies. The entire country will be one constituency. The rationale behind that, there's a number of reasons, is that because of our history, we need to have members of Parliament who can be responsive to every Fijian, no matter wherever they live. Previously, we were very much put into our little boxes. Firstly, it was the communal divisions, and then secondly, it was wherever we came from. So if you're a member of Lau Open, you only were concerned about the people from Lau. If you're a member for Bar Open, you're only concerned about the people from Bar. And indeed, we found that there were political parties that were purely divisional based. So you could have a party that's come out from the Western Division and all they're concerned about are the people from the Western Division. So in terms of the development of policies, whether it's economic, whether it's infrastructure, is limited. We need to have national policies. We need political parties, when they present their manifestos, to be able to appeal to everybody in Fiji. And that's how their policies need to be based. It needs to have an attraction for everybody. So that's the rationale for that. Countries like Israel and Netherlands have a single member. The entire country is treated as they're the two significant countries, treated as one constituency. Proportional representation. There are political parties, as you know, in Fiji. I think it was the 1999 elections and even after that, where at times they received about 20% of the votes, but they did not win a single seat. It's not truly representative of the people's will. Proportional representation says whatever proportion of votes you get, that's the number of seats you will get in Parliament. Well, there's a minimum threshold, like in New Zealand, it's 5%. You need to get 5% before you qualify for a seat. Of course, more details will be built around that in the electoral rules. The next significant change is, of course, the Attorney General. Fiji has had a history where most Attorney Generals have come from outside Parliament, in the sense that they have never been elected. So they have always been brought into being Attorney General through the Senate. What this Constitution says, that the Attorney General firstly the Prime Minister must choose an Attorney General from within Parliament. And there's a qualification requirement for that. It must be somebody who's got at least 15 years experience. It must be somebody who has never had any judicial proceedings against them or any proceedings against them through the Independent Legal Services Commission. It's not that, like, you must not be somebody who's stolen some trust fund monies or been suspended or debarred. You must have a clear track record. Only if the Prime Minister cannot find somebody from within Parliament who meets that criteria, then the Prime Minister can go outside and choose somebody to be the Attorney General. Because to be Attorney General, you have to be a lawyer. Now, once a person becomes an Attorney General, they obviously don't have voting powers if they have come from outside Parliament. And number two, if you become Attorney General, you cannot run your law firm on the side. You cannot run a law firm on the side with your name on it. Because guess where everybody will go and make all the land applications, use that law firm to do all their work. That's to stop that. There is, ladies and gentlemen, a very strong emphasis on accountability and building strong institutions. And you will see that, subject to time, how we have actually carried that out. There is also, for example, a requirement for Parliament to ensure that there is a committee system. We need to appoint committees for different sectors, and there's a provision for that. Also, the government cannot bind the state on any international conventions or treaties without getting Parliament's consent. And as you know, in the past, we've had various governments that have gone and ratified various treaties and conventions without Parliament consent. And it has huge ramifications in terms of our ability, for example, to have control over our tariffs and various other facets that are specifically rests under sovereign power, or sovereign authority, I should say.